Party's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Attention, citizens of fair Gotham, and welcome to Bat Minute Forever, the show that normally has an interesting introduction, but I forgot to write one. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I'm asking, what the hell is going on here? I am the co-host, Niall McGowan.
Yes, and we are joined once more to round out the week, escaping all the way from New York City and coming all the way to Gotham, which might not be far, depending which Gotham you're looking at. It is Molly Bailen.
Yay! Thanks for having me back.
We'd have a cheek not to at this point. Come on.
Well,
You've got to be back. You've got to. This is minute 21. The minute starts with Edward showing us all, and it ends with holographic fish. Yep.
Oh, that's right. To get into the 3D fish in this bit. Because when we're watching this minute, a lot actually happens in this minute, but do have to say too, Wayne Enterprises, everyone leaves on their computer when they go home at night. Like all these monitors just up and running with the screensaver going. It's like, that's just not very energy efficient, Bruce.
I often leave my personal computer on. I'm not a company with thousands of these things.
I thought like Bruce Wayne would be more forward thinking in terms of like, just not be needlessly wasting friggin'. He needs to be more of a Daniel Clamp type, like, you know, everything just shuts down if you don't move around every once in a while in the cubicle.
Plus, as we know from the last movie, there's an energy surplus in Gotham now.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So, maybe this is the thinking, like, no, we gotta use it up. That's why all the neon's there.
Or it goes bad if you don't use it.
Yes, everything's neon now. Like, everything has to be day-glow neon, because like, we have to use up the energy. Like, so they still ended up making that power plant. And they're like, but then, because Max Schreck wasn't there for it to be like a nefarious power-sucking power plant.
It's just loads of power.
Yeah, just Chip Schreck messed it up. He's like, Chip Schreck is more beloved than Bruce Wayne, because he's like, I gave the city even more power than it needed.
Unlimited power!
At the end, it's not Palpatine, it's Chip Schreck rotating in his chair by that window. Young Master Nigma, I was expecting. I'm trying to do Palpatine and walking.
I know, you were doing well, let me say. That was a good attempt.
But talking about things being sexy. So we pan into Edward Nigma's his little work nook here. And he just doesn't seem to... Like, because he's all like, too many questions, I'll show you it works. I think he took the too many questions line a different way than it was intended. Because I think he's thinking like Bruce Wayne was questioning if the thing would function. And I took too many questions to be more like, you're talking about mind manipulation. That's a moral quandary. I can't get into that now because that's what the questions.
I thought, yeah.
But he seems to be, like, the way he says, I'll show you it works, is an indication, like, maybe if I just prove it, that it functions as a machine, then me and Bruce will be pals again or something? I'm not too sure. Although he goes straight into making the riddle after this, so...
Maybe that is part of it, though, is that he has taken it the wrong way, because he's so obsessed with him, and he's so crazed and stuff, that he's not really listening to what he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what his objection to this was. The objection isn't, I don't think you can make this work, you're stupid. Like, he's not doubting he can make it work.
Yeah. I think he's also not seeing... Because, at the end of this minute, we see the box in action. And it's kind of like... I think he's pitching it in the wrong way. Because he's like, why be brutalized by an uncaring world? And you can live inside the show. And going on about, like, by manipulating the brainwaves, if you will, and all this stuff. Like, all he really needed to pitch was, like, this is the new way forward in 3D entertainment. Because that seems
like
to be...
VR.
That seems to be what it is. It's just like, so the fish comes out of the screen at you?
Cool.
But yeah, I guess we'll get to all that when it comes up in the minute and stuff. But I'm also, dancing around the fact that, like, I think I could talk for about 5 hours about that Gotham beat magazine cover.
Yes.
For
my
Michael's
God.
Gun. It's-
I love it. I love it. I love it. Is it meant to be like Teen Beat?
Oh,
that
yeah,
old magazine. Yeah.
Oh,
Because why is a
100%.
tech mogul on the cover of a teen magazine? Like, imagine if your kid had this on his wall or her wall. Like, wouldn't you be a bit concerned? Like, that's weird. I actually think that maybe Edward has mocked these magazines up himself.
You think this is the man Bruce Wayne should be, but he's...
Yep. Well, and because there's one, Ms. Gotham, the perfect man. It's like, that's weird.
That's one of their things, though, is together. Like, he is together. It's like, Bruce Wayne is a man who is together. Let me tell you that. Like,
Yeah. Together, young, and, was I say wealthy?
well, yeah, wealthy, I think. But also, the Bruce Wayne concede to, like, one photo shoot in his whole life. And they have to just use whatever was shot that day is all the photos we have of him. He was wearing that black polo neck. And he did like 2 poses. And then the thing I love the most about Gotham Beat is like how blatantly photoshopped the smile is on his face.
Yeah. Bruce, don't smile.
Yeah, it's, like, I don't want to. If he had even seen that, would he be like, I didn't concede to this. Like, why they? Like, that's somebody else's smile just plastered over my mouth. What the hell's going on there?
I mean, this is a little pervy generationally because, like, this is like a 30-something-year-old man who's on the cover
Yeah.
of the Teen Beat, but then there's also a Ms. Gotham, which is supposed to be kind of a Cosmo, which is for, probably a woman in her 20s or 30s. So you're really netting a whole couple of generations of folks with 2 different
That's what you've got to do.
covers.
You've got to hook the mother and the daughter.
I do like though I'll concede though that Bruce Wayne as an outgoing as in this version of Bruce Wayne what he's supposed to be is this like outgoing entrepreneurial type. I think he would do an interview for Gotham Beat because I think he'd be like, I'm trying to get kids interested in science and stuff and interested in
Maybe, but the
So-
cover seems to imply it's just like, look how cute this guy is.
I think maybe he conceded. Maybe he like, oh yeah, I consent to the interview because I want to plug. Like, I've got a competition for children. Like, I'm offering so many, internships, and I want young people, teenagers, to come in, and I can help boost their ideas. I could do like a Dragon's Den, Shark Tank kind of thing of like, bring their ideas to me and stuff. But and then they turned around. They're like, put someone's smile on them and have like a little. That's put on lipstick by the magazine, or maybe Edward Nigma. Just the cover.
yeah,
Could be.
it's Edward.
Yeah.
I do like what else could be in Gotham Beat though? Like, were they covering like the Penguin when Oswald Cobblepot was on his way up? Was Gotham Beat doing stories on him and stuff?
There's the same picture, but with Danny DeVito.
He has the same smile over Oswald Cobblepot's mouth.
Oh my god.
I do like having interviews. Barbara Gordon writes for this, and that's where Commissioner Gordon was once on the cover of Teen Beat, and they also had that same smile over his mustache and stuff.
Oh.
And would you have Chip Shrek from the last film?
Oh yeah, totally. Why not?
You could imagine Chip, not Max. No.
I'm just trying to think of like other Batman characters who'd be like involved. Like, you could have got that guy. We call him Lonnie Macklin, Anarchy, like the teen anarchist. He has a section in there where he writes political diatribes at the back of Gotham. The system is corrupt, man, and all this kind of stuff.
A bit like the little bits you used to get from the comedian Ben Elton in the 80s.
Yeah,
Where he'd just come out and do a random political bit for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. This is like this is to get Anarchy bringing up all like Nietzsche-inspired philosophy stuff, and like, but we just want to talk about how cute Bruce Wayne is, right? He's like, well, I will admit that Bruce Wayne is also very cute, but and he's got this other photo in the back where it's just like him kind of chilling at his desk, but it's like again, it's just the same. It's that same Michael Keaton in the Batcave with tucked into the jeans jumper, and it was very much like Bruce Wayne's like, I will release photos of me in various poses. I'll have Alfred take them, and I will post them to all the magazines, and those are the pictures you can use. But I will not be posing for any.
Does Alfred take his Tinder bio pics and stuff?
I would hope so. Bruce Wayne can't be trusted to write that kind of thing for himself.
Alfred, this person wants some nudes.
Oh God.
It's like, Alfred, you know all my measurements, right? Like, of course. There's also a little thing beside the one of him at the desk, and I was like, I'm not too sure what it's supposed to be, but it looks like it's a drawing of some sort. And I thought it was like, at one point I thought like, is that like a is it a Joker card? Is that where they go? Is it an allusion to that? But there's no trace of the Joker in this movie, so it's like I'm not too sure what that's supposed to be.
It looks like a plant, maybe, which could be poison ivy.
Yeah,
related.
they could have been. Maybe they were all setting up like, "Hey, poison ivy, she's on the way in this movie. Dr. Chase Meridian is going to be the big reveal." Like, nope, turns out not. But they also have like all the crossword puzzles and stuff. This is like the they don't really stress it too much, but like I think they're trying to set up like, oh, Edward Nygma is really into puzzles, so that's why he'll become the Riddler. But they don't really do enough of it. It's just like, oh yeah, he has crossword puzzles about, I guess.
He should have them all over the place, and not just crosswords, because crosswords are the tamer end of the puzzling world, aren't they? You know,
Oh my
he
God.
needs those really advanced things, and he should have them all scattered everywhere in amongst his Bruce Wayne pictures.
They could have had like the Stickley showing up and being like what's his face from Gremlins 2 again, just been like, well, Peltzer, like, no decorations in your office and all this kind of stuff. Like they could have had him come around like, I told you to clear out all these puzzles, Nygma. The things like alluding to the fact that he's obsessed with puzzles and stuff.
Yeah.
But like we only really get it like he has that thing in his apartment, the thing that points at different bulbs and stuff.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
I guess you ask it a question, like a magic 8-ball, is that?
Yes.
Like, should I get married? I don't know.
should I marry Bruce Wayne? Gotham
Yeah.
Beat says yes.
So that's why he's obsessed with him.
I do kind of genuinely want to read whatever article Gotham Beat wrote on Bruce Wayne. Like, what did the teenagers of Gotham think of this guy?
I'm still a bit creeped out by them trying to get like 14-year-old girls to really fancy this guy.
I'll be
It's
really
bizarre.
terrible too of like the article. There wasn't like there was like some other article pieces about Bruce Wayne and they were written by Alexander Knox. It's like he got fired from the Globe, and all he's doing now is he's slumming it in Gotham Beat. And he gets made fun of by all the actual teenage writers they've got working for them.
No, like, I've decided our Patreon show should now be called Gotham Beat.
Oh, like, that's not a bad idea actually. Yeah.
We were trying to think of a name and we completely forgot to come up with one.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But I'll happily go along with that. But of course, then like one of my favorite lines of the whole movie, though, just because of its delivery, we do have Stickley sneaking up on Edward Nygma with his like, "What the hell is going on here?"
So hammy. I love it. I love it. I love it. He's so good in this movie. It's a shame he's not in it for more stuff.
This is one of those real revelations of like, I always knew I liked Ed Begley Jr. in this film, but like watching it minute by minute is like, oh, he is gold. Like he's only in it for like 5 minutes, but every minute of it is just like, oh, perfection. Like,
And his
absolute-
question could apply to 90% of the film.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here?
That wasn't actually him saying that. It was like Bob Kane wandered on set like one day with, what the hell is going on here?
He was offended by what he was seeing.
Although one thing I think I will keep a running tally though, so out of curiosity. But Molly, I don't know if you're aware, but well, actually, what is your opinion of the name Edward Nygma as a character?
I mean, I think it's cool, but I also kind of grew up with the animated series, and I believe he was Edward Nygma in that. So I think I kind of had a loading dose of that name. So I was kind of like, I was good with it. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, this is I don't need him to have a Joker style origin story in a sense, because he's just he's just so over the top. Even the 60s Riddler is crazy. He's pretty one dimensional in that way. How do you guys feel about it?
Well, actually, leading into like, I'm kind of cool with it just because it's like, yeah, it's a ridiculously stupid on the nose name to me. It's like he's just called Edward Nygma, and he's like Enigma, and he's into puzzles and stuff. And I know in the more modern comics they've called him Edward Nashton, and he changed it to Edward Nygma and stuff like that. But the reason I asked the question is because in the original draft of the script, they changed his name, and he was originally supposed to be called Lyle Heckendorf.
No, God.
I can tell now what your opinion of that is, but like we had Khalees Lomri last week when I said Lyle Heckendorf, and she's like, yeah, it works better for me. Like, so apparently this is like night and day with people's reactions in terms of like, I want to keep a running tally of like pro con Lyle Heckendorf. Other people thought that would have been a better way. So I know the comics purists would have hated that, but they change things like that all the time. So
Screw them all.
Lyle? Really?
Yeah,
Good.
Lyle Heckendorf.
Oh,
That suits him. He's a little dork, isn't he? Like,
yeah. Oh, he's not a Lyle. That hair doesn't say Lyle, even casually. Yeah. Anywho.
I think it fits. I think Lyle sounds like a little nerdy dweeb.
As a guy, no, because we know a Lyle, and I'm wondering now to John's like, how much is he just channeling his dislike of that person? Into...
That Lyle is not a nerdy dweeb, to be fair. But, yeah, okay, yeah.
But although speaking of guys just seemingly trying to freaking roar the house down, Stickley takes off, and Enigma then makes the split second decision to come and clatter him in the back of the head with the coffee. Well, we're going to call it a kettle. It's not really a kettle, is it? Like, what?
I am glad you paused on that, right? Because in my notes, I didn't know what to call it. I just put a coffee maker thing.
Yeah.
Because over here, we don't do coffee properly.
Yeah.
I mean, we barely do tea properly anymore. Nobody knows how to make tea. But coffee, we'll have instant coffee, or you might have a French press. Like, we don't have coffee makers. We don't have any of this stuff. So what the hell's this?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know what this is because I have a French press. So that's how I make my coffee. So like what are you going to use this for? I mean, do you guys use like electric kettles, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it kind of resembles that, but it's all metal. So I'm just like, is this like for Turkish coffee? But like a lot of it, but that would like kill everybody. Turkish coffee is like petrol. It's like insane. So like I don't understand.
I love it.
Although,
my gosh,
that would ring true for Edward Nygma though. Like I can imagine, if he's drinking essentially rocket fuel, then that suits the characters. Maybe you've hit the nail on the head right there.
If you made this now, to keep it modern and to keep the neon theme, he'd be like downing cans of Monster drinking.
He'd become the monster.
The monster. He'd just have like 6 or 7 crushed empty cans of Monster lying around his desk.
Oh God.
I'm waiting for you to have another anti-Mountain Dew rant this episode, John. Well, not rant,
I love Mountain Dew. I just wanted to make a joke.
This is like previous to, like anytime Edward Nygma's been on screen, John's made some kind of crack about it. I'm like, oh, I bet he sits eating crisps and drinking Mountain Dew.
Because everybody knows that nerds eat Doritos and drink Mountain Dew. to the point where Mountain Dew made a Doritos flavor and Doritos made a Mountain Dew flavor.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Apparently it was.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very curious and I do want to try it, but it sounds revolting.
It's the joke. Like, all nerds, all gamers eat and drink that. And their Xbox One controllers will be covered in cheesy Dorito dust ground into the buttons. I can say this because I am a nerdy gamer. It's fine.
The Mountain Dew potentially was missing out on it because again, Green Can, they could have had a Riddler tie-in with Batman Forever. They thought, although was Mountain Dew even available in '95? Because I remember that being a more modern drink.
Oh no, it totally was. Yeah.
It was.
See, this is where you're going wrong right now. In America, Mountain Dew's been around forever.
Oh, okay.
Here, they brought it out around 95.
They could have launched everything
95.
up, much like Sony with that PlayStation, which was tied into Spider-Man 3. They could have launched Mountain Dew as a big thing, tying into Batman Forever.
It must have been around here, because I remember having it in primary school. But this is going to sound weird, but it wasn't around the time of the 1994 Football World Cup. It was definitely after that. So it was probably 95-ish, maybe. But after about 2 years or so, that disappeared until you couldn't get Mountain Dew here again until about 4 years ago.
I just imagine you going through like this horrible part of your life where there was just no Mountain Dew. Like you're having to, there's like prohibition. You're having to get people shipping it in from.
Well, Niall, you forget. Then I moved abroad, and I was in an American school. So what did I have every lunch?
Was that just because? Was that just because you were just like, I need to get out of this kind of thing? You can't get Mountain Dew anymore. I'll
Yes,
go where the Jew goes. You're just like
I moved to Pakistan and went to an American school to get the Jew.
you're like you could have got this excellent Pakistani school, John. You had the finest education, or you go to the American school and I guess they got Mountain Dew or stuff, and you're just like, let's roll. Just
Yeah, baby, let's go. Sign me up.
I think that's so crazy, though, to be like, you're in, and I don't know where you were in Pakistan, but be like in Karachi, that like Karachi gets Mountain Dew, but it's like the Americans are so hung up on Mountain Dew that they're like, no, you got to import this shit, and the children must have, the 40 grams of sugar, it's crazy.
Yeah, basically. Like, I was in Islamabad,
Okay.
but the school, everything, in typical American style, everything had to be American. Like, so you could get, like, Pakistani food, but the main canteen food was American. Everything was shipped over. Like, I'd have my s'mores Pop-Tarts when I got there. What else did they have? They had fruit by the foot. You could get them. Gushers. All of these things.
See, I only tried a Pop-Tart for the first time in like the last 6 years, and I was not a fan. Like,
No, the
Really?
English ones are crap.
Yeah.
The English ones aren't nice.
Oh.
They're cheap. They're really like... And we have boring flavors. In England, right? If a product isn't the best-selling product on the market, they just cut all the flavors. So Pop-Tarts, there's like 3 of them. What is it? There's chocolate, there's strawberry...
and
Can you even get the blueberry one anymore? I don't think so.
I can't remember the one that I had. I just remember it
See?
way too
We're
sugary.
boring.
So-
I hate this country. We don't get anything nice. They just get rid of all the nice flavors.
You look at like some supermarkets now, they've shipped in Lucky Charms. I was like, oh, I keep hearing about Lucky Charms. I must
Well,
try
you're
these.
Irish.
But it was just like, remember afterwards, it was like the sugar crash that came after it. And I was like, this is not worth it. Twinkies, another one, they shipped those in. Didn't like them
Ooh,
either.
yeah.
It was just,
Yeah.
just
But
felt
we
like,
do now get all the Reese's products, and they're all good.
Oh, yeah.
That's quite a new thing. The last few years, been getting them.
yeah.
But I used to get them at the American school.
See,
But,
we only get Cadbury cream eggs. We don't get the full Cadbury line here.
Oh, right. What do you think of them? Because me and Lol were on a podcast. We were on the Speakeasily Hour Minute with Audra Wolfman and Klingon Vanna White. And as part of that, you review a TV show and you review a snack. So they decided, the snack we'll review will be Cadbury cream egg. Because we've never had it.
What?
You guys have it all the time. Yeah, they hadn't eaten it. And they took one bite of them and were like, these are disgusting.
Oh.
They really hated it. They were like, this is just too sweet. It's just sugar. And it is, to be fair. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I do like a cream egg, though. Like, I don't know if they had a whole campaign of, like, how do you eat yours? Like, how do you go about eating a cream egg?
I bite it like a normal
I
person.
was like, it's only small. Just put the whole thing in your mouth. There you go. You're done.
No, you don't. Do you?
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. What the hell?
I have a newfound respect for you, Dial. That you just pop the whole thing in and you just like take it.
Take
Well, that's what you're
take one
supposed
for
to
the
do
team.
with. That's what you're supposed to do with sushi, and people never do it. You're supposed to. All sushi has to be eaten in one bite.
Although, again, though, getting back to the minute, though, and talking about the people who abstain from certain things, I did discover that, because Nigma knocks Stickley on the head here and bellows, caffeine'll kill ya, as if he was just like, make sure they can hear me 10 studios over.
And will it? Only if you have absurd quantities, right?
Well, one thing I did find is that Jim Carrey himself abstains from coffee. Like, he apparently is, for the sake of his mental health. He's because
That's good.
Jim Carrey's opened up quite a bit about his a lot of depression and stuff like that. And he's got a quote saying from 2004 saying, "I rarely drink coffee. I'm very serious about no alcohol, no drugs. Life is too beautiful." And then in 2013, he shared his coffee-free routine on Twitter, saying that he was on day 3 of a no wheat, dairy, sugar, coffee, soda, drugs, alcohol, or tobacco. And then he said, I feel a sense of balance and fairness. I hate everything and everyone equally. So, but the weird thing is like, because Jim Carrey would be the type as well, because he's so manic. You'd be like, is he on something? So maybe he's having the stress like, I am on nothing. As this is what you're getting is 100% Jim Carrey.
Oh, God, imagine him on coffee.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So maybe that's a really good point. Maybe for his psychology, given that this is his performance and there's elements of his natural personality that are in here, perhaps abstaining from any type of amphetamine style anything is probably good for him. But I just like for myself, like, and because I lean towards more of a depressive disposition, like coffee is really
same.
essential for me to like maintain mental well-being.
I drink an insane amount of it, but I am aware, as someone who has depression and anxiety and stuff, I probably shouldn't, because it definitely exacerbates anxiety.
Yeah,
But it's lovely. It's nice.
I've only really started working it into my, like, I'm always like, used to be like 3 cups of green tea a day. That was my thing for years.
Oh,
good
that's
for
better
you.
for you.
Yeah.
Stick with that, man. Yeah,
But
I
it
love
was,
green tea.
but now I have noticed like about like 9 p.m. I'm starting to lag a little bit, so I have a coffee about like 4 because that kind of keeps me going until it gets me a bit more energized and stuff. But now I just feel like, oh man, I'm getting old. I'm having to drink coffee for the purposes of just getting through the evening kind of thing.
Oh no!
But I do people with a coffee drinking, like, I'm a big fan of the Gilmore Girls and stuff. You see them fucking. I can't imagine that's in any way healthy. The fact that they just seem to be knocking back coffee 24/7. I don't even know how the hell you would be able to sleep at night after that and stuff. But although I found this information on Jim Carrey though, in a very insightful article by Insider.com. Which sounds like something that would be in Gotham Beat, basically. 16 celebrities who don't drink coffee. And there's a whole big thing, like Jennifer Lopez doesn't to help her skin. Zendaya doesn't drink coffee. She opts for juice instead. And then one of them, way low down, was Donald Trump, apparently does not drink coffee because his brother told him when he was growing up not to. But he does drink 12 cans of Diet Coke a day. Which is like, that ain't good for anybody.
No. Oh my God. If you're going to drink that much of it, you might as well be drinking the regular Coke, to be honest.
Yeah,
really?
That might explain a lot about him as a person.
It does a lot.
The sweeteners are not good for you. I mean, obviously, if you're having the occasional can, I won't say anything to anyone. Do that. That's cool. 12 a day. Those sweeteners are not good for your body. Don't be doing that.
No, I mean it's artificial sweetener at that, and that's just I'm cancer causing, and
yeah, Jesus, that's insane.
Yeah.
it is.
Like, man, I don't want to be giving Donald Trump advice here, but just at least cut half of them out for some coffee.
I mean, we just cut it out altogether. You don't need the caffeine. You shouldn't be lying in bed on Twitter, Trump. Like, that ain't a thing. That ain't helping nobody. So
that explains why he's always tweeting while he's sat on the toilet at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But anyway, I just thought that was like, quite an interesting thing that Jim Carrey is. I even saw a bit because he did an episode of comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yes,
with Jerry Seinfeld, and he was like he wasn't drinking coffee. He was on some kind of mineral water juice thing and stuff as well. But it's even then, because he's at that point he would have been like mid-50s or whatever. He's still incredibly fit, and he was like jumping over fences and stuff.
Yeah, he's insanely hyper in that episode, isn't he?
And it's just like that's sort of weird too, because Jerry Seinfeld strikes me as such a type of person that I can imagine, much like Tommy Lee Jones, he would have no time for Jim Carrey. But they seem to get on well, at least, thankfully. But
they did.
Mm-hmm. But then, of course,
someone who doesn't get on with him.
Yeah.
Ed Begley Jr. I'm not using his character's name either. That's just his name. Because Nigma wakes him up by plucking his mustache hair out.
With the painful. Sound effect from the BBC's big sound effects album.
Yes! I was going to say the same thing. What the hell? It makes a comical ping.
It's throwing back to like the 89 movie when they had like the friggin' Lone Ranger gun sound effects and stuff, where you're like, where did they get these from? Why didn't you just record something new? But there is a lot of that in this movie. There's a lot of like zany sound effects and stuff, so the fact that it goes like doink is really like, that's par for the course here, really.
Oh, it's crazy. But then he straps him into the device. I think that's a better name than the box. It's not really a box, is it?
I thought, at no point is it ever a box either. Like, I don't know why the hell he's calling it that.
It's a helmet.
Yeah, they could have called it anything. You could call it like the Nigminator or something, anything. But it's like,
Nigmatron 5000.
yeah, but like the box is like, I guess maybe, but Xbox I guess was quite successful with a, but then that had the addedness, as we've said in the show before, you put X in front of anything, it makes it cool. So maybe they were saying like that's cool. Where he was going wrong. Just the box, that's not going to do it for you. You put an X in front of it, Xbox.
Yeah.
Then it was called the Xbox, and then Mark Zuckerberg came in and he's like, let me tell you something. Just drop the. Oh no, that was friggin' Justin Timberlake's character. Sorry. That was the Napster guy.
It's all right. I've never seen it. I was just taking that face value. Like, that's how it happened. Okay. Fine, yeah. The Napster.
You're talking about taking it at Facebook value, but I'm a bit wondering about the thing he has on his head, though. He's got like the elements of a pair of glasses, but no glass in them. It seems to be just there to put on his nose. I don't understand the function of that at all. Because
got to keep it steady, keep it straight.
Maybe, but maybe because he does have little lenses at the top, but they don't seem to be going anywhere near his eyes. So I can understand maybe if they had a whole bunch of lenses he needed to keep in place as well for the box to take effect. But that doesn't seem to be an element of it. It just seems to be like, he just made a crazy, wacky looking friggin', half of it's a bloody blender on his head and stuff. So. What do you think, Molly, of the box plot line? Because I know, John, you hadn't seen the film in several years, and you completely forgot that this was a part of the story.
I wish the contraption wasn't as like comically. I mean, I get that they're trying to be like, look, it's undiscernible science, look at it. But at the same time, I wish it was just a little bit sleeker. There's so much attention to aesthetics in this movie, like heavy duty, with the environments. And, I appreciate like, the undertone and the idea and the nefariousness of it, and that there's this, again, mid-90s, there's a lot of commentary about MTV is rotting the minds of the youth, so I think that there's a little bit of or people are spending too much time on TV, so I think we've had this theme in the last, 20, 25 years of the youth are rotting their minds with media, and, now it's social media is the current discussion. But yeah, I think from an aesthetic point of view, like, I wish it just would have been a little shinier, not as like a 50s contraption-y, overwrought kind of thing. And I understand that there's like a mad science sensibility here. I want to be cooler.
I do really think like if they did update like this for today, if the Batman Forever is coming out now, like. Again, we were talking about Mark Zuckerberg and the social network and stuff. But like the idea that Edward Nygma has created a device that's essentially mining people's mind data, basically. Mm-hmm. Like he gets all your secrets, basically. Like using the box will essentially allow it's consenting to him being able to go in and find out everything he ever wants about you and stuff. I do wonder if they updated it from blender on the head. 3D TV thing to some sort of social media device or something like that, because it would seem actually like Batman Forever in so many ways like this is such a dated film, but it's also like it's just much like we found with Batman Returns. It's like it's almost more relevant now in terms of like things like that than it ever was. Yeah,
no, I absolutely agree. I think that's part of one of the there's definitely strings of intelligence with this, even though. As we've talked a little bit this week about there's some social things that have progressed in the last 25 years that this hasn't obviously kept up with. But yeah, I find some of that discussion about media and, like you're saying, sharing secrets and, that everybody's kind of tuning out and, sucking intelligence into one, central media hub. And again, some of this like, the paparazzi, factors into this to a certain degree. and we see when they go to the circus that there's like a media circus there. Like, who is this? Who do you have on your arm? So I mean, there's some there's some intelligent points in it. So I appreciate it. As trying to put a little for the adults in the room. There's a little something to chew on.
Yeah.
You need something because if I went to see this, say when it came out with my dad or something, he would have stormed out. I think. Oh,
really?
Oh, I don't think anyone of his generation would tolerate anything in this film. I can't see it. See, at least they made an attempt to put something intelligent in it. Yes, it holds up, as you say. It's kind of relevant now.
Yeah. Although just as well with this is one point I think actually because of this I guess is the transformation scene coming up with Edward Nygma, but so this might be one of the last times we have to bring it up. But his delivery and what he's saying to Stickley and stuff like this won't hurt, at least I don't think it will, and give him a little wink and stuff. It's like there's no difference between what he's doing here and then later on when he's got Chase Meridian, he's like, it keeps me safe when I'm jogging at night. Like, there's no like transformation here. Like, I feel like they should have Edward Nygma as a quiet creep, and like he's maybe a bit shy and a bit sort of like he just comes across a bit unsettling and stuff. And maybe him saying things that like he'd be like nervously going around Stickley and like this won't hurt at all, or I don't think it will, like things like that. But he's just playing it like he already is zany Riddler guy. Like there's no progression of the character. Like he just finds out like, I can do this thing now. But I feel like they should have had more of this has transformed me as a person into an entirely different personality. So then he becomes more outgoing and more et cetera, et cetera. But I guess that's what they're kind of trying to go for in the film when he is, becomes a millionaire in his own right and stuff. But because the performance isn't modulated in any way, it doesn't come across clearly. So,
are you suggesting that when he gets Annie Lennox's hairdo, that's not a transformation? That's a hell of a transformation. No, I agree with you, really.
But it just really seems like they could have had him be like two completely different kinds of people and stuff. But like, no. Again, much like freaking Tommy Lee Jones. Like, he could have had a Harvey Dent and a Two-Face. But nah, he's just doing the one big thing. And
I think it's down to time, because this is already a long movie. So they could have put that in for both of those characters. But what would that add, like another 20 minutes each or something?
But I think you have a really good point there, because like even in his acting job in these couple of minutes, like there's a real sinister undertone. Like and I could see it have been skewed in that Joaquin Phoenix Joker, more hyper real, scary, sociopathic sort of way. Yeah. Like he could have done that. He had the capacity, he had the range. They could have started that out with that kind of creepy loner type of a thing that you're talking about, Niall, and he could have pulled it off, and it could have been unsettling, and it could have been deeply unsettling enough in this comic book context that I think we could have bought it. And then when he went for this more like over the top extroverted delivery, we could have been along for the ride because we could have seen a higher contrast, but it's disturbing all the way through. And I think they could have pulled that off if they weren't so attached to Jim Carrey as this asset of Jim Carrey-ness and having him do his thing all the way through in that way.
Yeah. But yeah, so at this point of the film, we do get an introduction to what the box is supposed to do, basically. He flicks the switch. Much to Stickley's protests. And then Stickley instantly seems to get on board, though, with, like, I guess we're supposed to take it as that, like, it makes you feel like you're inside the show, but it's been shown to us as if it's, like, ultra 3D television, basically. Actually, looking at it now, I think they are trying to indicate that he has a bunch of different lenses in front of his face, but it seems like they're too high up. So you'd have to be looking up to see them and stuff.
Maybe they're used for certain things. They drop down as needed or something.
Could be. Also makes me think of like they might have been doing a little reference to that guy in Ace Ventura who has like the several pairs of glasses and stuff that he keeps moving around in his face and things like that. But
tell you, I have a question though. We may have sort of mused on this a little bit before, but it bears repeating. Would we get bored of this if it was a real product like we all did with 3D?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. They
It's
still would
tough,
have
though, because VR's the new upcoming thing, but that hasn't hit the mainstream enough yet to know if it's going to last.
I have done the VR headset thing before, and I did find it incredibly fun, but that was for like one evening. So I don't know about it. But the thing is, like, yeah, you still would have made a ton of money off it. He still would have got his crazy, mind-hacking device up and running. And I guess he'd just be like, oh, I'm making the box 2.0, or I'm developing new kinds of technology and stuff. He should, in theory, should be intelligent enough to do it at that point. But I do kind of wonder, though, because if this is supposed to make Stickley feel like he's inside the show, because he's very calm, and going like, oh, all these fish all of a sudden. He seems to be like, almost like he's become kind of instantly doped up in some way.
Yeah, it's like a drug. Is it trying to be like, television's a drug, man?
Maybe, but because to him, though, it is like a light switch. It's just like it's night and day, the fact that he seems to instantly become zombified by the whole thing. I would have thought, though, if you were sitting in a chair and all of a sudden you found you were underwater and fish were just floating in your face, that would be more of a panic-inducing kind of thing. Like, you'd be freaking out. They're like, holy crap, I'm drowning all of a sudden. But
yeah, that'd be horrifying.
But
like in the draft script, it's not fish underwater. It's a fisherman reeling a fish in. And it just seems really real. Like, you're standing there with the fisherman and you see it coming out of the water and he holds it up to you and you're like, oh, okay. Which is much less exciting visually for us, the viewer, but it also would be less panic-inducing for the user.
I guess maybe it's supposed to be indicating by the manipulation of the brainwaves that you are calmed. Like it is instilling a sense of serenity in you while you use it, and that's why using the box would become addictive and stuff. So maybe they did think this through, and it just wasn't coming across clearly. But yeah, that's kind of the end of the end of this week. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about in this particular minutes, or?
All I wanted to say was I absolutely love the noise when he turns the box on.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great sound effect right there. After the hatred for the weird ping of the moustache hair, this then makes up for it.
As John was sitting there in the cinema like, the next sound effect better be the best sound effect in the whole world. And 2 seconds later, been like, nah, you got lucky.
Yeah, you did it.
But like, I know, Molly, like at this point, we usually ask the guests of like, oh yeah, about their history of the movie. You've kind of alluded to your history of the movie already, but like, I'm thinking that you were quite the fan of Batman Forever at the time when it came out.
I was, yes. Yeah, I really dug it. I felt like at the time, and again, like I have a little probably different perspective now, but at the time, I really welcomed that it was a little lighter. And I really dug the humor, and I know that's a controversial thought, and I know even from like the actors who were involved, they, people bailed because it wasn't what they wanted. It wasn't dark enough. It wasn't Tim Burton's vision. And on one hand, it's like, I appreciate that, and if that's what you want to be involved in, they were obviously amazing movies, and much respect. But I also think at the time we really needed something different, and we needed a slightly different take. And I think that they, as much as Joel's gotten kind of a little bit, I think that he took enough of a really, this wasn't, although there's over the top performances in the context, it wasn't collectively over the top enough that I took issue with it. And that the jokes, I thought, a lot of them landed really well. Like, even the illusion, way fast forward into the future where, Robin makes a 60s quip, which it's not really meant to be a 60s quip. And, I don't want to ruin it for Future Minute, but basically, like, you get the reference when you see it and it comes up. And I think those moments were just really well received by me. And again, reviewing it, I really think it's delightful. And again, like, I'm a big fan of cyberpunk, and I love the use of neon in this and blacklight, and fusing it with that very, Greek Gothic. Like, I like Chronicles of Riddick for the same reason. It has a lot of similar aesthetic. So I really dig that about this. Now, I think that there's a lot of things that balanced out really well here that they tried to haul back into Batman and Robin, and unfortunately, that cocktail didn't work. for me.
Yeah.
And
That's too much, isn't it?
it was too much. And so I feel like for what this was, they just upped it enough that, you roll with it. So I really dug it, and I still do dig it. And at the time, when these three were just out, I would have said that it would have rivaled me for my favorite for the original Batman. I liked it that much. But yeah, I mean, like, I bought shirts, like I was totally like, I was way into it when it came out. So yeah, I think Val Kilmer makes a good Batman. So yeah, I mean, I just in general really dig it.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like so far with the guests we've had on, a lot of people have been mostly indifferent to the film. So it's nice that I've got somebody on my side. I've been like, no, it is really good. I don't understand why it gets dumped on so much. So
Yeah, and yet again, I'm in the middle because I think it's not a great movie, but it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good time with it.
Yeah. I mean, you're coming off like a week, Molly, like we had like, self-confessed ultra goth Carice Lowry, who's on come like, I don't like this. I don't want to, like, it's not Tim Burton. I don't want to know. Frankly, I'm disgusted by the concept of it. But it's like, so thankfully we can have a bit of a night and day reception to the film.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And I was a goth in high school. Like, I had the makeup, like Vampire the Masquerade, like full deal, but I still really dug it, because again, I think because I just really, I dig the neon aesthetic and cyberpunk, like I'm saying. But yeah, I think there's a lot of it still stands up and I think still works really well. So I'll go to the mat to argue with people about it.
Oh, well, although, of course, you're welcome back for next season. I wonder what, if you go to the mat for Batman and Robin at any point. But,
that's a tougher sell, that one.
It's a little tougher sell, but there's still gems in there. And George Clooney, I think, was there wasn't anything wrong with his performance. I'll say that.
Ooh, we might disagree.
Yeah.
We'll save it.
Well, to be continued. We'll talk to you next season.
Okay.
Well, that's assuming Molly survives my coin toss that's coming up.
The coin toss of death.
The coin toss. But before we do the coin toss, would you like to tell people where they can find you one last time? Because you're not going to be back, or we might have to kill you if you lose the coin toss.
Oh, okay. So this is where you can find me then. Whether I survive or not, you can find us on growlermedia.com for Escape for New York Minute. We're on Twitter at NYMinutePod. We also have a Facebook group, Brains Library, the Escape from New York Minute. Hang out with us. So yeah, that's it, where you can find us.
Go and hang out with them, everybody. Do it. And come and hang out with us on Facebook. You know all of this junk. It's the Bat Minute Listeners Cave. We're on Twitter, Instagram, got a website, Patreon, TeePublic, all that junk. But most importantly, come and review us. Not just rate us, review us on iTunes. Bumps us up the rankings, gets us seen and heard by more people. And that's what you want. You want to spread the love. You want to spread the Bat Minute all over the toast. Do it. Bat Minute on toast, baby. Right. Coin toss time. Coin toss. For your life, do you want heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails, okay. Tails, you survive. Let's see then. Oh, God damn it, it's tails. You survive.
Woo!
And I'm not Tommy Lee Jones. I'm not going to cheat the coin toss and do it again. You get to live.
Yay!
Which means you can come back next year if you want to.
Yes, I would be honored. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, anytime.
Anytime. And we will see you all again on Monday for more Bat Minute Forever.
Next time, holy Cortex Quench Batman. Something fishy is still afoot as a sinister scientist gives his whole system a reboot. But while a stupefied superintendent slips into the third dimension and emerges from the screen, will something devilish develop as Nigma's gray matter glows green? Find out next week. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.